So big data is a really big deal in Europe right now. People are really interested in exploiting the new technologies that are coming along to help them use increasing amounts of data, and they can use that data to give them true business advantage. They can build new services, new products. They can improve their customer engagement by having more data and more powerful tools to process that data. And that's going to get more and more so going forward, because we're now seeing this burgeoning interest in the Internet of Things. So there'll be a vast amount of data being made available from sensors and from connected cars, connected devices of all types. And that data again is going to enable more better processors, better customer engagement, and it's going to give competitive advantage. IDC's done a lot of research into the how European organisations are exploiting that data. And at the moment what we find is that most organisations are still in the early stages of exploiting big data and knowing how to use that big data. So we've looked at hundreds of organisations, and we've codified what we've learned into a model, a 5-stage model of what we call big data maturity, and that ranges from ad hoc at the low end, where it's very experimental, through to optimizing, where people are actually using big data in a well-managed way. And what we found is that most European organizations are really in those early stages, the first or second stages of that. And what we've done is we've tried to correlate best practices for exploiting big data with their success in becoming good at using that big data. What we found was that obviously you need the right technologies, you need the right skills. Without that you can't exploit big data. But over and above that, we found that there were some other softer factors that made the difference between what we called the big data thrivers and the rest, the leaders and the rest of the pack, if you will. And what those factors were around culture and governance. So basically it came down to 3 things in our view. The first was that organisations were very focused on outcomes. They were relating their big data projects to business results, business goals such as increasing revenue, reducing operating costs, driving efficiencies, that kind of thing. The second was that they really looked for results. They were very sort of focused on the ROI, so measuring the outcomes of those projects. They weren't just doing it experimentally and let's see if it makes a difference. They were really looking at getting that business difference from their big data projects. And the third, and even softer in many ways, best practice that they had was to get executive buy-in, not just on a per project basis, but generally, so that everybody had this culture that we're going to use analytics on our projects. The budget they required was built into every project. The thought that we're going to use analytics on these projects was just a constant factor. And I think that's a very important part of that culture, and that's another really differentiating aspect of the big data thrivers. So really, my advice overall is that you need the technologies, obviously, you need the skills, obviously, but you need to think further than that. You need to think of these softer factors if you're really going to make a difference and get business benefit from your big data projects. So if you're interested in learning more about all of this, we've got a conference coming up in London on April the 14th, and we'll be talking about that and getting some end users in to talk about their experience, and also some suppliers to talk about the latest technologies. And so we can explore these issues further. And then after the London event, we've got more coming up in Belgium, in the Netherlands, in Spain, all around Europe. And so there'll be plenty of opportunities to learn from IDC over the coming months.